that we get into a habit of starting on time. So I want to go ahead and go to start that now. Um, I do want to talk about just real quick before we get started with the training, just a couple of housekeeping, couple of housekeeping rules. We want to make sure that we're mindful that we are recording. Okay, so during these trainings that we are recording. So any personal business or anything that we want to talk about, let's wait till after the call. We do after what we call after hours. We can talk about it then. Also, even before the call, a lot of times you guys will hear me or put music on or a different video, things of that nature. Because what we don't want is we don't want to have different conversations going on while people are logging on to the call. Okay. We got a lot of new people that might pop on the call, and we don't want to hear about what you did for dinner last night and what happened. I mean, not that we don't want to hear about it, just not now. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so let's just be mindful. We want to make sure that we have quality, that we're giving out quality. So for new people that join our calls, just like Michael's a good guy, but I didn't want Michael to come on this call and hear, anything other than what he came to hear. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for understanding that. So we're going to jump right into our call for today. I think we've got a really good subject that we all can really benefit from. You guys can see my screen or no? Am I sharing? No, hold on. I'm not sharing. Hold on. One day I'm going to get this right. I did say one day, G.
The day cannot come soon enough.
All right.
He's only been trying for the past 30 years.
Hey, watch it, buddy.
Yeah, we can see we can see you now. You're good to go.
All right. Excellent. Okay, so here's the nature of this topic. All right, this is probably one of my favorite topics. Dealing in leadership is because all of you all have decided that you wanted to come on this journey of commercial lending, and you want some of you all, not all of you all, but some of you all want to actually build your team. You want to build a team up. You're looking at recruiting people. I know Joey has been big on recruiting people. A lot of you all that's on this call has really, tried to recruit, others. Okay. So, and of course, that's the name of the call. That's the name of the game. I'm sorry. That's the name of the game, is recruiting and getting people on your team. Okay, Jill says he's on the big guy. That's right, Jill. Thank you. So you want to make sure that you're getting quality on the team, okay? And you want to make sure that you are leading the team in the proper manner. Leadership, and I want you guys to kind of think about this. Developing an individual for leadership causes for you to start throwing away a lot of your old stinking thinking and renewing your thoughts and your mindset and your mind patterns, okay? It's because in leadership, you want to create what's called duplication, okay? You want to create duplication, and you want to lead by example. So what we're going to talk about in our leadership development today, so all of you all that's planning on leading, building teams, building your business, you want to make sure that you are an example to those that's following your leadership, okay? So one of the things that we're going to discuss is the 4 E's of leadership, and that's energy, energize, edge, and execution. And so these are some of the things as a leader that we have to possess. We have to possess the proper energy. We have to be able to energize those that's on our team. We want to make sure that we are, we've got cutting edge information and we know how to execute, right? So leadership is, it's a number of things. It's a number of things, but we're going to start there. And, how do I build a team? Okay. And how do I build and maintain a stable team that's dedicated to being successful? How do you do that? It's tough trying to get, people on our team to come to training and to get them to be successful, which is why I'm grateful for you all that come time after time after time. You remember, guys, we used to have a packed room full of people, right? But over time, and this happens, it's okay, it happens, that people begin to start dwindling off because of whatever reasons that they might dwindle off, all right? So my question to you all today is, I want you to help me with this training, and I kind of want to hear your some of your feedback, but in a single word right now. You guys can help me and take your mics off of mute. In a single word, define what makes a great leader. Think about some of your leadership experiences that you've had in the past. What has defined a great leader? What do you think a great leader looks like? And one word.
Example.
Word. What is it?
Example.
Example. That's good. Somebody give me another one.
Patience.
Patience. Perfect. What
Knowledgeable.
else? What's another one word?
Knowledgeable.
Relentless.
Knowledgeable.
Action.
I heard something else. What did you say, Dave?
Relentless.
Relentless. That's good. You better be relentless as being an effective leader. Somebody else said something else.
Active.
Active. You want to make sure that your leader is active, right? What else? Someone give me another word. What's another good word? One word that describes effective leadership.
Inspirational.
Communication. Communication.
Communication. Being able to communicate properly.
Influence.
Influence. You need to be influential. Good.
Proactive. Proactive. Proactive.
Proactive and not reactive, right? Good leaders are proactive. They're able to see before these things happen. Good. That's a good word. G.
Visionary.
Who?
I'm going with accountability.
Accountability. That's a good one. A good leader is okay with being held accountable, right? That's good. That's good. Anybody else? Is that it?
Passionate.
Passionate. Passionate.
Visionary.
Visionary. These are some good answers.
Inspirational.
Optimistic. Okay, so these are all words that describe good leadership, right? But one of the main things that stuck out to me that out of all the answers is what Michael said. Example. Example. A good leader has to be all of those things, but must be an example. It's not about telling people what to do, but it's about showing people in your walk what to do. Okay, I remember being younger and I was on a job interview. I think I told you all the story before in one of our other trainings. It was for Ace Hardware. You guys know about Ace Hardware, right? It was Ace Hardware. and I was a young guy. And I went in there for to apply for a job as a manager. I had never been a manager anywhere. I was probably maybe 18, 19 years old. And the guy asked me a question. He says, okay, how do you lead? What's your proper way to lead? My answer at that time was, well, I'm going to tell them exactly what to do. I'm going to tell them to do this, 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 and this, right? I'm going to make sure that I, if they're late, I'm going to make sure that I ding them for being late, things of that nature. Well, that's because that's what I saw, from other leaders, that what they did to me, right? And the guy said, well, no, those things are just kind of what happens in that role. He said, but the answer that I'm looking for is that you're effective. The way that you lead effectively is by example. It's by example. So when you're building a team and you're bringing people on board with you, when you're building a family and you're raising children or wife or things of that nature, right? You have to be a strong leader and you have to lead by example. If you notice that if the leader is not strong, the rest of the operation or the rest of the family is going to suffer in whatever capacity. If the head is not strong and the head is not clear, the rest of the body cannot function properly. Okay? So with being a leader and being an example, it's important to know that others are watching you, whether it be your family, whether it be your employees, whether it be your teammates, whether it be people that your business partners, that they're watching you. You can tell them all day long about how much and how successful they can become doing the things that you do. But if you're not living a successful life, they're not going to believe the words that came out of your mouth. Am I right? So
Correct.
So you can be an example by living what it is that you're trying to show others. If you want to show others how to make $10,000 a month, you need to be making $10,000 a month. If you want to show people how to make $30,000, $40,000 a month, you need to be doing that. If you want to show people how to be a great boss, you need to be a great boss. You want to show them how to be a great husband, you need to be a great husband. Great father, you need to be a great father. So whatever it is that you're trying to show others to do, you have to be that. Okay? I can't come and tell you all how to be successful in something and I haven't been successful in it. Because then my words are just words, okay? So leadership development is the process of enhancing one's ability to inspire, lead, and build teams toward common goals. John Maxwell says, leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. I'm going to say that again. Leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. If you're not able to influence and empower the ones that you're leading, that you're not leading them. You're not leading them. You ought to be able to inspire them and empower them. And how do you do that? How do you do that? With getting them great information, right? With living a positive life. You as the leader, living a fruitful life, taking care of your health, taking care of your family. Those are all the things that's going to help you to empower others by being that example that we talked about. It's all about being an example. That's how you empower others. Not only by being an example, but sharing with others information that they may not necessarily have. Are y'all with me? So leadership development, you ought to be able to have the ability to inspire and lead and build teams toward common goals. What are those common goals? Which means that you have to set the goal and set the tone, right? And get the arrows lined up in the right direction. One of the hardest things it is for me as a leader is getting all of the arrows and everybody going in the right direction. Because we want all the arrows going in the same direction. We don't want arrows going this way, this way, this way. We don't want that. That's ineffective leadership. But when you can create what's called uniformity, you can create uniformity and create that synergy where all of the arrows and everything begins to start looking alike according to the vision. Now you're rocking and rolling. Now you're seeing a difference being made because now everybody is on one accord. So in our challenge of being effective leaders, we can be examples, we can be, proactive, we can be inspiring, we can be all of those things. The fact of the matter is that the receiver also has to be willing to be led. We can do all of those things, but if you're not willing to be led and willing to, cultivate your mind and, and go in the right direction and the same direction that we're going as a leader, then all of that stuff becomes null and void. Okay. So the 4 E's of leadership, this is what I want you all to remember. I want you to put this in your spirit. Okay. This is the 4 E's of leadership. Number 1 is energy. Energy. The passion and drive a leader brings to their role. There's a certain energy that we have to have no matter how we feel. Listen, there's days that I don't feel like doing these calls. There's days that I don't feel like getting on a phone call with my team and customers and things of that nature. Okay. I may not feel like it, but I can never show my team. G, can you make sure we're muted? I can never show my team that it is going to overcome me. Okay. Matter of fact, the other day I had a meeting with one of our teammates, and we were doing a workplace wellness with the major bank. We're trying to pitch it to a major bank, and I had taken some medicine, and the medicine had me very lethargic. And so I said, man, I need you to reschedule this meeting. I need to lay down because he says, go ahead, man. He says, but I'm going to go ahead and still have the meeting because I want to keep the energy right, and I understand you got to lay down because of the medicine. He said, please do so. But what I did was I said, you know what? Let me wash my face. There's too many people going to be in the office. They're expecting me to come. I'm going to wash my face, put some cold water on it. I'm going to shake this thing off, and I'm going to get my butt in this office and go ahead and tackle what I need to tackle. That's the energy of a leader. That's the energy of the leader, right? This is why, as leaders, we have to also be careful because sometimes we can overdo it and then we start having challenges in our body. So we have to have that. We have to have that outlet. Okay, we need to take those trips. We need to, take the drive. Today, I just got on my motorcycle today to go get some air. And right before this call, I wanted to think about this call, but I did it on my motorcycle where I can, hear myself, right? And so, the energy is the passion and the drive that the leader brings to the table. So are you bringing passion and drive to your table, to the people that's following you? That's a question that you want to ask yourself. Are you infusing positive energy Are you injecting positive energy no matter what? Everybody that knows me that I talk to on the phone, no, you can't talk to me with negative energy because I'm going to twist it all the way around for you and we're going to go back to positive energy. So if you want to be on your soapbox, I'm not the person that you need to talk to. I'm going to listen and hear your concerns, but we're going to turn that around and see what's good here in this situation. And then we're going to, get our energy levels back because you have to also be protective of your energy. Another thing as a leader, we have to be protective and shield ourselves because so many other people don't understand this. They don't understand protected energy. They don't understand what energy is. And because their energy is all the way off, they'll contact you and get your energy all the way off if they can. And they don't understand what they're doing because this is just the energy that they're flowing in on a consistent basis. So as leaders that practice positive and instilling positive energy, we have to be overly protective of who we allow in our circles. Why is that? Because if our energy gets off and we're leading others, we can pass that negative energy off to others. We're trying to build a team. We're trying to build a successful company. We're trying to build successful consultants. Okay, so we got a lot ahead of us. So we have to keep that energy level to an all-time high. What about Energize? We have to, as leaders, we have to have the ability to energize, to motivate, and to inspire others to take action. You all hear me all the time saying it's time to get off the runway. It's time to get off of that runway and get airborne. It's time to start closing deals. It's time to start taking this information that you're getting week after week after week after week and start converting that to dollars. Well, that's the ability to motivate you and inspire you to take action. That's why I do that. Okay? And then being on the edge, and that edge is that confidence to make tough decisions and take risks. As a leader, we got to make some really tough decisions and we got to be risk takers. Some decisions that I make as a leader, I don't want to make, but I have to make because if I don't, it not only affects me, but it's going to affect everybody that's connected to me. So with that being said, you also have to have tough skin. I'm going to throw that in there for free, right? You have to have tough skin. Because as a leader that's energizing and creating a certain frequency of energy, you're going to have others looking at you thinking that, oh, they think that they're all of that. They think that they are this and that, and then people start throwing darts at you, trying to challenge what you're building, bringing up old things in your past, trying to smear your name, right? This is what happens to all of us that have experienced any type of leadership. And that's only because these certain people don't possess these things that you possess. So as a leader, protect yourself. Make sure that you keep your energy up. You make sure that you have tough skin. You make sure that you don't allow others that don't possess what you have to take you off of your square. You have to stay focused because we need you to be able to energize the people that you're bringing on and to inspire them to take action. What about execution? One of the biggest things about being the leader is that you have to execute, because just talking a good game is okay. But if you don't execute and accomplish these things that you're talking, turning those plans into action and achieving results, then your words just become just that, words. And then your leadership has been watered down. Okay, are you with me? So remember that execution is the goal. This is the goal. It's important for me to not tell you all just to close deals, and I'm not closing deals. I can't tell you, that here you can make $20,000, $30,000, and I'm not making $20,000 a month. Or whatever the case may be, whatever I'm telling you all, I have to possess that. And that's the same thing for you. Whatever you're telling your people that you're bringing on the team, you have to possess that leadership. The other day, I saw Jill take one of the other reps and call them, okay? What was her name, Jill? Who was that you were on the phone with?
I'm trying to think what you're referring to.
You helped them get set up the emails and things like that. It was one of the new reps.
Elizabeth. It's Elizabeth.
Oh, Elizabeth.
Yeah, Elizabeth. Yeah. So she called on her own to help her to set up the things that she needed to set up so she can perform and have the tools that she needed. They didn't call me, they didn't call Joey, and she just took it upon herself to go and help her. Well, that's good leadership. That's a good example of leadership. And we ought to take a page from her book to say, it takes nothing for us to help the next person. It takes nothing for her to help the next consultant. If everybody had the attitude of wanting to see each and every one of your people in our circle, on our team win, and we willing to help each other, then we all win. But what happens is that people get into selfish mindset, and they're only concerned about themselves. They won't congratulate. They won't say congratulations. They won't say welcome to the team, little things. So these are self-characteristic traits or characteristic flaws that you as an individual have to ask yourself, why won't I say congratulations? Why won't I say welcome to the team? Why won't I go and post about the trainings and the things that's been going on? Why won't I do these things? What is it taking away from me to do these things? Well, because there's a mindset that you possess that you've had for all of these years that you can't get out of. You can't get out of your own way. So as leaders, we're trying to get you to change your thinking, to change your mindset little bits at a time. And that comes by way of giving you good information, bringing on other powerful speakers that have gone before us and done wonderful things. That's the passion and the drive that a leader brings to the table. No matter what, you ought to be able to motivate your people. You ought to be able to motivate the people that you have on the team. If you have a team and you got people on your team that you recruited, you should be able to motivate them. You should be able to energize them. You should help them turn their plans into results. Okay, and it takes all of us to do this. I'm only one person. G is only one person. Joey's only one person, okay? But it takes all of us to do this in order for us to have a powerful team. I'm not trying to build a team of just a few successful people. I want everybody on our team to be successful. Eleanor Roosevelt says to handle yourself, use your head. To handle others, use your heart. Okay? So the importance of building a stable, successful team is to ensure consistent performance and progress. Strong leadership fosters and commits to commitment and dedication. Foster commitment and dedication. So no matter what's going on in your life, as a leader, you still got to keep going. You all think that I don't deal with things? I deal with things just like everybody else do. I have challenges just like everybody else do. I tell people all the time, you think that my challenges are easy? No, they're not. Matter of fact, my challenges might be a lot harder. It's one thing to have a challenge where you're trying to come up with $2,000 or $3,000 to make something work and change your situation, than a challenge where you have to come up with $200,000, $300,000 to fix a situation. So if they're both challenges, but just bigger numbers, right? So we all have different levels of things that we deal with. But as a leader, I still have to be dedicated and still have to be committed no matter what. And this is the same thing for you. You still have to be dedicated and you still have to be committed. It shouldn't be a time because things is happening in your life that you won't even get on training calls anymore, or you won't post, or you won't sell, or you won't do anything because you allowed your feelings to get in the way. I don't have that right to allow my feelings to get in the way. Imagine that. So stability is what leads to long-term success. Being mentally stable, right? You want to make sure that you're stable and you have stability. That's what's going to lead to your long-term success. What about the energy? This is really the leader's fuel. I mean, we talked about this on some training not too long ago, and I told you how to convert fuel. That's the challenges that you deal with. Where do you get this fuel from? Right? What does that mean? It means that energy is the personal drive and the enthusiasm that the leader exhibits. It's the fuel. It's the gasoline. It's the petroleum that we all need in order to propel ourselves to the next level. Everybody says this thing like, man, I got to go to the next level. I got to go to the next level. But you haven't been proficient on the level that you're on. You don't have the fuel to go to the next level. So how do you get that fuel? You get that fuel by taking all of the things that the life's challenges, number one, and converting it instead of letting it be a hindrance and letting it stagnate you, convert it into the very thing that you need to take off with. Convert it to fuel. If you lived in poverty and you don't like being poor, okay? If you don't like being poor and you lived into poverty, guess what? Remember the smell of poverty. I remember what poverty smells like. There's a smell to it. There's a stench to it. And I don't like it. And so I remember these things that I never want to ever go back to. Remember the things that you're challenged with, the feelings that how it made you feel. How did it make you feel when you lost your home? How did it make you feel when you lost your job? How did it make you feel when you lost your wife or your husband? How did that make you feel? What about if your account is completely empty? How did that make you feel? When you couldn't pay your light bills, you couldn't pay your gas bills, you couldn't do the things that you needed to do. How did that make you feel? Don't tell me that you liked it, because you didn't like it. So take that experience, convert it into fuel, get mad and get angry about it, say, I'm never going to feel this again, and allow that thing to be your petrol, to be your gas. That's how you convert into fuel. That's what leaders do. We look for these challenges because we know that life is going to give us these challenges anyway. We know that life is going to give us these challenges. So instead of running away from these challenges and turning a blind eye to them, we grab the bull by the horn. We grab the bull by the horn and we tackle the things that needs to be tackled, and then you convert that into the fuel that you need and you propel. How do you do that? By maintaining a positive attitude even during those challenging times. You have to maintain a positive attitude even during them challenging times. I remember a time that some years ago, my kids was little, I was being evicted inside of a snowstorm, in the middle of a snowstorm. The sheriff was taking my stuff out of my house, and there's a snow blizzard in Chicago. And I remember telling my wife, take my son, one of my sons was at school and my other son was still little. I said, take him down to Starbucks and y'all get some coffee or whatever, and let me deal with this. And I had to think at that moment, what do I do? So I had the moving truck. I had already been proactive. One of you all said earlier, one of the traits to be proactive. I had the moving truck to come to help move my stuff to storage. So as they were bringing stuff out of there, the moving truck was grabbing it and putting it inside of the truck. What I did not want to have happen was I didn't want my sons to see their toys being put out. I didn't want them to see any of this. So as the leader, I had to deal with this. I had to grab the bull by the horn, because guess what? I still got to find shelter for us tonight, which means we got to go to the hotel. I still have to pay for this, right? And I still got to get us out of this situation. Well, that's me being a young entrepreneur trying to make it. And some of you all are young entrepreneurs, and you're young in your entrepreneur career, and you're trying to make it. Well, you're going to go through a lot of pitfalls, and those pitfalls is going to determine how you come out, how you're built. It's going to determine what you're made of. So you have to maintain a positive attitude even during these challenging times. I knew the one thing is that I was going to go to the hotel with my boys. At that time, I didn't have my daughter, my young daughter. I had an older daughter, but I had my young daughter, right? I was going to go to the hotel with my boys, and there was going to be a swimming pool there. So in their mind, they just thought we was at the pool, at the hotel, hanging out as a family. They didn't know that we had gotten put out. But it was an indoor pool. It was an indoor pool in the hotel. So it kind of took their mind away from the fact that, that we got to, why they're not at home in their room with their toys. They still make sure that they had all their toys. So I had to maintain a positive attitude. And some of you all have them same stories, right? You have to stay passionate about your work and your team goals. Stay passionate, even while going through that storm. We went from one hotel and had to go to the next. I ended up in a Motel 6. Okay? So when we finally got to the Motel 6, I set up my desktop computer and I had a flip phone. And this was my office. And I had to get credit repair clients. And I had to get enough credit repair clients that was going to get us out of that hotel and get us to a house. And I always saw the story about my friend Angel, who rests in peace now. He's passed away now. But Angel invited me to the radio station. He was a radio personality, and some of you all might know him out of Chicago. But he was a radio personality. He invited me to the station. He allowed me to do his credit, and he publicized what his results were. Because of that, I got so much business, I was able to come out of the hotel and get my family a place to live. I had to stay passionate about my work. What fuels your personal energy as leaders? What gives you fuel? I want you to answer that to yourself. What gives you fuel? Think about that. Because if you have not yet learned how to convert triumph into fuel, then you need to learn that today. It doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter what you're dealing with. Whatever that is, you have to grab the bull by the horn, and it has to become your personal fuel. It has to become your energy. Okay? And as leaders, you have to have this type of tenacity. What about energizing the people that's around you? How can you energize others that's around you if you don't possess the energy yourself? If you don't possess the energy yourself, how can you energize the people that's around you? A great leader knows how to pass their energy onto others and inspire their actions. We have to inspire your actions. I got to get results out of you. I got to bring the best out of you. So I try to have these type of mindset trainings so you can start changing your thinking, because I understand as a leader that it's all mindset. And I also understand that the people that I serve have different mindsets. And so it's my job to try to elevate your mindset and to try to get you thinking in another direction that's going to foster a certain level of success based on what I've been able to do. As an example, not just me telling you, but me showing you based on what I know and what I've been able to accomplish, right? We have to create a shared vision that excites everybody. We have to create that vision. When you're building your team, you have to create a vision that's going to excite them. Celebrate the small wins and keep the momentum going. That's why we're always talking about congratulations for doing this and hitting your goals. Congratulations for making these small steps. Catherine, the other day, she made a small step and made a contact that's possibly going to put her in a much greater position financially than she's probably ever been. But the small step was just introducing herself. So that was a small win. So that win is what we all want to celebrate. And we want to keep that momentum going. So when we're on these calls, we want to make sure that we're celebrating each other. When we see one person doing something that's magnificent and they've accomplished some type of task, we want to make sure we say, good job, well done. Because you're next. Why? Because energy is contagious. Energy is transferable. Okay? Another way that you have to cultivate your energy is by being an active listener. There's that word again. We talk about this almost in all of our training about being a listener. That just shows you how important listening is. But be an active listener and provide feedback that motivates. And as recipients of some of the things that I say to you all, when I'm giving you feedback to motivate you, it's only for that reason, to motivate you. So please don't ever take anything that I say and think that it's to be malicious or to hurt your heart or hurt your feelings or anything like that. No, I'm here to motivate you. I'm here to get results out of you. I'm here to help you to see some things about yourself that you didn't know that you have inside of you. I believe each and one of you all can do this. I believe that you can be successful. Listen, when I started making money, I remember the days where I wasn't making it and I started making it and I said, man, you know what? This is not as hard as I thought it was going to be. But it was only because of my mindset changed. My thinking changed. I don't waste my time on things that's not going to produce. Okay? So you got to think. What about when your team or people in your circle are feeling low energy, low vibrations? They're in a dark place. One of the things that I also have to deal with as a leader is that because of my leadership ability, there's people that comes from all over, especially when they're feeling low. Why? Because they want a dose of energy. And if I'm the one that's always giving energy, they need to put they need those spark plugs on. They want to call me directly. You know, and so after a while, it's fine, especially, you know, early in your stages. But as you grow and become more popular and things like that, it becomes a little bit of a challenge as a leader, because now everybody is trying to call you to get that dose of energy, to get that, especially when they're feeling low. They need answers. They need this and that. Okay, but they don't know, because they're only concerned about their situation. They don't know that it's 30 other people that's doing the same thing to the leader. This is why I don't give my cell phone number out to everyone. I can't. Not that I don't care. I can't. This is why I don't stay on the phone too long. Not because I don't care. It's because I can't. Okay? So how do you inspire others? How do you inspire others when on your team or in your network, in your circle, in your family, when they're feeling low as the leader? Okay? Are you making tough decisions? Okay? Do you have the courage and the ability to make tough decisions that others might avoid? Do you know that most people like to sweep things under the rug and act like it's just going to go away instead of facing it on, you know, head to head? That's me. I like to face things head on. I'm sorry, head on. I don't want to sweep anything under the rug. Let's talk about it head on and deal with this. All right? So how do you cultivate that type of energy, right? You have to embrace risk. We talked about that. You have to embrace it. Stop running from it. Embrace it and learn how to make decisions under pressure. You have to learn how to make decisions under pressure. Trust your instincts, but use data to back up your decisions. You definitely want to be in tune with your instincts. This is called discernment. You want to have discernment. You want to be able to discern what's going on. Okay? But use data to back up your decisions. Make sure that you're doing everything that you can to give the best information that you got. Encourage a culture of decisiveness within your team. Okay? Don't let people be double-minded. Let them encourage them to be able to make decisions. Leadership is not about making speeches or being liked. It's not about that. Leadership is defined by results, not attributes. Peter Drucker. Leadership is not about making speeches or being liked. A lot of times people in leadership, just because they have the ability to talk and they sound good, they think that they're effective leader. We see a lot of that in church. We see a lot of that in politics. Right? That our leaders are not, because they have the ability to make speeches, they don't have the results. They're not showing results. They're showing the ability to be able to speak and do those things. But are you backing up what you're saying with results? Are you showing others how to convert challenges into fuel? Or are you the one that's pouting when challenges come? Because if you're pouting when challenges come, you can't be a leader. You're not in leadership position, okay? What about execution? Are you able to get things done? Are you executing what you set out? When you got your team together and you brought these people on board and you said, hey, listen, I got an opportunity for you to make a living in the commercial lending industry. I have an opportunity for you to make a substantial amount of money. Right? Are you able to execute and get your team to execute by taking action and ensuring the goals are met? One of the things that we're going to be doing soon here in Sequoia is that we're going to really be giving some incentives to hitting certain goals. We're going to incentivize the people, right? Because we want to take action and make sure that you're hitting your goals so you can be successful. We want you to say, I love writing checks. I love writing checks. I love making sure that the people that has done deals with me get paid. I love making sure our investors are paid. I love making sure my consultants are paid. The feeling for me to write these checks and pay and making sure lets me know that we're on the right track because it's taking action and people are seeing results. That's what it does for me. It lets me know that individuals are seeing results and the thing that I told them was going to take place is what took place. That's what execution means. And I'm very big on that. And you have to be very big on that. You have to break down the goals into actionable steps with your team. You got to set clear deadlines and hold team meetings. I'm thinking about, maybe doing what's called small circles or small groups where we have individual team leads that help a small group to hit certain numbers. And we have a lot of different small groups that'll help incentivize and help motivate and get people working together. Follow up on follow up regularly and adjust strategies when it's needed. Some strategies become antiquated. That's another thing. Okay, if your strategies are antiquated, you need to revolutionize those strategies. You need to bring them up to speed. And you might have to do that by bringing others in that has a refresh, a fresh thought or fresh thinking. Okay? Because remember, you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, whatever your age is the number of years that you've thought a certain type of way. And I'm here to tell you, give you a little bit of bad news. Most of the stuff that you probably learned is not even good. You've got a good amount of stuff that's good, and then a lot of stuff you need to throw away. But the problem is people don't want to throw away what they learn. And then when you challenge those things, they become defensive. It's called cognitive dissonance. Okay? Cognitive dissonance. They don't want to hear anything that's going to challenge their thinking. Because you've been so used to thinking this way for so many years. That's what the problem is. Okay? How can you improve your execution strategies? We got to execute. How can you improve your execution strategies? You have to get up and you got to do. Michael Jordan said, just do it. Nike said, just do it. You have to just do it, okay? You have to execute your strategy. You execute your strategies. So how can you improve? You think about that. What do you need to do to improve your strategies so you can execute on your deals? Do you need to get off your butt? Make some phone calls? Right? Or do you need to go out and meet more people? Do you need to post more? What are you doing? And what are you not doing that you're not executing? Okay? And leader is one who knows the way, who goes the way, and then who shows the way. That's John Maxwell, John C. Maxwell. A leader is one who knows the way, who goes the way, and then shows the way. So I can know it, then I got to live in my example, right? I have to I mean, I have to have the experience and do it myself, and then I have to live in that example and then show the way. I show the way by living in it and doing it. Okay? So you have to know where you're going, okay? And then you have to walk in it. If you know what you know, one of the worst things that I've learned, a bunch of people that said they know this, I know this, I know. I sit there and listen to this as a leader, but then I look at your life and say, well, you must not know it. Oh, I know how to do this. I know how to do that. I know how to do this. No, you don't. And the best thing that you can do is get to know how to do it. Because when you know how to do a thing, your results is going to prove that you know how to do a thing. Michael Jordan can't tell people, hey, I know how to dunk. I know how to fly in the air and, and do these things. But if he could not do it, it would just be words. So he knew the way, and he had to show the way. And everybody, I don't know if you all play basketball, but everybody in my age group during that time was on the court, dribbling the ball, trying to fly through the air, like Michael Jordan, with their tongue out. Y'all remember the MJ days, right? So we got on the basketball court and we tried the same thing because we wanted to be like Mike. Because that's what he showed us. What about an action plan? This is where a lot of us get lost. You don't have an action plan. You don't have a plan of action on what you're going to do. Think of the recent leadership challenge you face. What's something that you face as a leader, whether it's a leader in your home, whether it's a leader on your job, whether you've been a leader in your church or some other organization that you're a leader in? Think of the recent leadership challenges that you had and that you faced. Which of the 4 E's, whether it be energy, energize, edge, or execution, did you use or will you use to solve the problem going forward? Did you convert it into energy? Were you able to, even during those challenges, still be able to energize others? Were you able to make some tough decisions, even in the midst of these challenges? Were you able to still put together a plan of action to execute? These are the things that a leader have to do and has to do on a daily basis. Okay? So one thing about the leader is not all what it's cracked up to be. I tell people that all the time. Everybody wants to hop in the leadership a seat, but you don't want to deal with what the leader has to deal with. Okay? So I want to thank you all for you coming to this training and listening to me, but most of all, I want you to take away from this training what you can do better as a leader as you're building up your team. What could you do better? What are you going to do better? Not only your team, but even in your life. What about some of you all have different jobs. Some of you all have different, positions and roles that you play. But if you're a leader, these are the attributes that you have to have in order to be effective. We're talking about building, guys. We're talking about building. Building. We're in building phase. We're in the building phase. And so I'm going to ask all of you all that's on this call that you take the time out to start reading more. Okay, that you take the time out to start reading more things about leadership, but you also take the time to start encouraging others, even in this group, to be better. Start walking in certain examples to be better. Okay, and understand leadership is not about what you can say and what you talk, right? But it's about you being an example to others and being able to energize others, being able to establish an action plan and to get results out of others. And that's the business that you're in. So not only are you trying to make sales, but you're also bringing people on the team, if that's your desire, to build a team. You might just take this training and just use it to just be just a more, a better person, right? Even in whatever position that you're in. Be a leader. Be a leader. And not only be a leader, but be an effective leader. Be effective. Make sure the things that come out of your mouth, make sure that those things come to pass. That's the biggest thing. G will tell you all the time. He's been knowing me for years. I'm big on that, right, G? I'm huge on this. The things that come out of my mouth, it stresses me when things don't happen that comes out of my mouth in a certain time frame or a certain amount. It stresses me. It takes me out. Okay? Because I, as a leader, want to make sure that my yays are my yays and my nays are my nays, right? I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. And you have to be the same way. All right, so the floor is open. That's leadership development. I want you all to take this training and just to, help reflect on some of the ways that you handle life's challenges and some of the challenges that you have to face as a person, as a human, as a leader, as a businessman, as a father, as a husband, as a whatever it is that you are. Take this training and make it make sense to you. All right. G, you have something?
No, I was just going to comment on what you said about, your word and things like that. Yeah, definitely big on your word, reputation, that kind of thing. I think, part of being a leader too is about not burning bridges, even with, not just people that are above you, but anyone in your network. Don't burn bridges. Don't, treat everyone fair. You don't want to, you don't know, sometimes someone that, maybe just coming in or they don't initially have, the sales skills or anything like that later turn into some kind of opportunity that's huge, because they grow too, and you can tap into their network. So I think, it's important to be humble.
That's right. That's right. That's good, G. Thank you, man. And yeah, don't burn bridges. That's another thing, I always tell people that, all the time that the person that you burn the bridge with is a bridge keeper. That means that person is at the gate. When it's time for you to cross that bridge, you always face the person that you burnt at the gate that you need to get past to cross this bridge. Well, you burn that bridge, so now you can't cross over. So that means you stay on the side. You stay on this side. So if all your bridges are burned, then you can't cross over. That means you're not moving to the next level because you're steady burning your bridges. Right? So that's what you do not want to do. So I agree with you. Thank you, sir, for that. Any other comments, any other responses in terms of leadership development? Any other suggestions that you can add to the this conversation?
Just being positive.
Being positive. That's right. That's right. Jake says that. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, I said accountability earlier, but I think it's really important, is being self-accountable as a leader. Don't be afraid to say you're wrong about something, or, there's the bad leaders are the ones filled with ego, that aren't always being a student. I know Mo, him and I talk about this a lot, always a student. We're always looking for people that are more successful than we are, have other ideas than we have. We're very open to that kind of stuff, because typically that ends up making you a lot more money. So, the egos and that kind of stuff,
Out the window.
it's out the window.
That's right. That's right.
I have a story, quick little short story,
Go ahead,
similar to
David.
you guys.
Share with me.
And then after I got something for G. So back in the 90s, with my ex-wife, we had 2 kids. It might have been about 97, something like that. I was in the IT field and I got laid off. And I was living in New York City. I was living in Brooklyn, New York. And my wife, she had a salon. So she was making decent money for back then. And of course I was making decent money, but I got laid off. Man, it took me 4 months to find another job. I mean, after a good month, the arguments started and it just was crazy. But like you said earlier, you got to pick yourself up by the bootstraps, and I just kept throwing my resume out there, going to the temporary agencies, looking for jobs, and I landed another IT job. But it took 4 months, and I didn't give up. I just stayed steady and strong. So, I remember about a month or 2 ago, you told that homeless story. You went into more detail tonight.
Yeah.
And Gerald said he had a situation. I don't know if you were homeless or getting evicted, but can you continue that story and go to just a slight more bit detail, Gerald?
Yeah, yes. This was back, I don't know, this was probably about 10 years ago. So you're talking about the one where I got evicted, right?
Yeah, and you said everything was getting put out on the street by the sheriff or something like that. I can't remember the details, but you were in some situation like Mo was.
Yeah, so I was trying to, I was in between my old business, my mattress business, that I was making a bunch of money. I left that business and was trying to figure out this loan business, and for about a year. And then pretty much what happened was I wasn't succeeding. I couldn't figure it out. I was really down on myself about that. And we talk about being positive. It was just negativity. I'm failing. I'm broke. All these things, right? Couldn't really get out of my head. And I couldn't pay my rent. We had a little baby, so it was bad, right? And then because I couldn't pay my rent, the sheriff one morning came and knocked on my door. At that point, I'd given up on the loan business. I'm like, yeah, this isn't gonna work. And I got a job trying to sell Mercedes-Benz I say trying because I wasn't very good at it. And although I did sell one, I sold my first car on my first day, so maybe I was better than I thought I was. But I'd only been there for about a month. I've been working for myself forever. So this is the first time I had a kind of a real job, you know. And the sheriff knocks on my door one morning, Monday morning before I go to work. And he's, nice enough. He's like, gives me the papers. He's like, you know what this means, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, like next Monday, are you going to be here? Basically just telling me like, hey, I don't have to physically throw you out. I said, no, I won't be here. Close the door. My fiance at the time, girlfriend, but now it's my wife. She's like, what are we going to do? I'm like, I don't know. So I go to work and I'm just sitting there in my office upstairs, at the computer. And I'm like, I got to break this up into pieces, basically. I knew that obviously I had to get some money. But before I could even do that, I had to find a place, right? Like I have to even know how much money I need. And then I got to move. So I'm like, okay, I got a week. I'm like, I'm going to give myself 2 days to find a place. And I'm going to give myself 2 days to get the money I need to move into that place. And then I'm going to move over the weekend. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna quit my job. So I went and quit my job. And then like right then, I'm like, yeah, I quit. Bye. So I leave, go back home. And my girlfriend's like, what are you doing home? Like, I quit. She's like, we're getting evicted. You quit your job? I'm like, well, my new job is finding us a place to live. So, I'm just like, yeah, I can't sit down here and rot away at Mercedes-Benz waiting, trying to go sell cars while we're being evicted. Like I'm an entrepreneur. I've got to get back out, hustle and figure out what we're going to do. So, I went and looked at 3 places. I limited myself to 3 places. I didn't have time to, go and be like, oh, this place doesn't have really the kitchen that I want. I mean, we're getting evicted. Right. So I looked at a couple of places. I finally found a place. I'm like, all right, this is the place. I met the people. They were nice. So then immediately I start calling all my customers. They're calling everyone I know. Hey, you need a loan, right? You told me you needed a loan. I'm going to work and get you the loan. I need to take some upfront money to process it. I need some money. I called my mom too and said, hey, I need to borrow a couple grand for a few weeks. So I managed to put together between a few customers and calling people, maybe like 7 or 8 grand, which, I live in California. So it's at that time, I think rent was like $2,400. You needed a down payment. There's 5 grand gone, boom. And then, you got to get a rental car, you got to get a truck. And, I didn't hire movers. I just got a couple of buddies, but I got the place and literally from Monday morning, it was now Sunday of the same, that same period that within that week. And me and my girlfriend are standing in our new place. And I'm just like, how did I do this?
Did you have kids yet?
So hold on.
Did you have children?
3 kids.
So let me ask you this on there. Is that what now? And we'll go into this after the call. Okay, but what now? All right, because what you did was you had to execute in the face of challenges. You had to execute right in the face of challenges. How has that shaped you today to where you're dealing with some of the challenges that you might deal with today? What did those challenges teach you and show you?
Well, one thing for sure is that I never went and worked for anyone else. I was done. When that happened, I was like, I'm never going back and working for anyone else, because it gave me the confidence. I was defeated, right, from being in the bit, trying to get this loan thing off the ground for a whole year, that I'm literally like, I'm going back to a job, which seemed smart at the time. Like, well, I got to make money, without realizing that I had all the tools that I needed to make all the money that I wanted, but I didn't have the confidence. And the other thing is when I moved into the new house, I think it was April, by November, I figured it out. Like November, I don't know, I forget the date, like November 6th, 7th, something like that. I got a $30,000 check. I went from having no money in my account, negative to having 30,000 the next day. And then I realized I had every single tool, every customer, every advantage, everything I needed the year before. I just didn't have the confidence to actually do it.
So it was a
The
mindset.
mindset.
Yeah,
Absolutely. 100%.
Amen. Way to go,
100%
Joe.
mindset.
yeah, good job. So this is the leadership. This is what we're talking about in the characteristics of leadership and the stuff that we have to endure. And we'll talk about some more of this offline. Thank you so much, Gerald. It is 18 minutes after the hour. I definitely want to be respectful of everybody's time. If you can stick on, we can talk a little bit more. We can stick on after hours. But just take this information and these stories that you're hearing and take it and digest this and use this for your own life lessons and your own fuel. Okay, just use it. All right, and learn how to convert negative situations and circumstances into positive fuel. With that being said, I thank each and every one of you all for coming out time after time on our Friday night training. Today was about leadership development. Listen, tomorrow, if you guys don't mind, I've got Dr. James Dentley actually coming back on the channel tomorrow. If you don't mind, I've got him coming on that channel tomorrow about 4 o'clock. And listen, he's going to teach us and show us how he made $10 million in the health and wellness industry. If you guys want to hear about that, plug in, be right here at 4 o'clock. Okay, he's gonna
Eastern, right? Eastern.
That's Eastern.
Eastern,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, you guys show
For
up
Eastern.
from me. I told him I was going to invite the team out, but you all show up from me. This is how I met James when I was 460 pounds. They helped me lose a lot of weight by getting on vitamins and certain things. Yeah, I was 460. That was really big mo for real. So, so
You looking good, Mo.
so thank you once again, everybody. I appreciate you. I
So
appreciate
that's
you.
tomorrow. Tomorrow, what time?
At 4 p.m.
Four Eastern.
Same
4
channel.
Eastern.
Y'all click on the same
Right
link.
here, right?
Right here.
Yes. Eastern.
Same link. Just come
Same
in.
link. Y'all do me a favor, you all. Show up from me. How many of y'all can show up from me tomorrow? How many of y'all can show up at 4 o'clock for me tomorrow?
I'll be on if my wife lets me.
Okay. All right. Good.
I can show up. I'll be there.
All right. You all show. Let's hear the story on how he's been able to do that. So, and he showed a lot of people how to do it as well. But I want us to, as a team, to hear. We know you might be able to plug into that as well. So the good thing about G2 Global Network, I'm going to always bring different things to you that could possibly help you to propel yourself. Okay. All right. Salute to every one of you all. I will see each and every one of you all at the top.
Yes, sir.
Salute.